Welcome in down the third baseline here at Thomas More Stadium. Float Talk Episode 1. I'm your host, Jesse Cook. And our first guest, Y'all's catcher, Zade Richardson. Dude, you're killing it lately. You're batting nearly 500 since the All-Star break. What's working?
It's more internal. I think it's creating the player and the person. Actually, not even the player, the person. I think creating the person and then letting it kind of wear off on everybody else. I think I can't do this without myself. I think I need, you need a team around you that's going to be high energy, high positive energy. And if you're around a lot of negative energy, it's not going to work. So I think we're just doing a good job at keeping the energy positive. And then, like I said, everybody's making each other better. And I'm taking care of myself every day, whether it's nutrition and food or anything else. And I think anything outside of baseball is what actually makes you do and have the success on the field. I think Massey talked about that early on. It's one of the biggest things that I love that Massey talks about is if you don't have your life together on the other end of things, like outside of baseball, then things won't work out. You know what I'm saying? But when you take care of yourself outside, you'll have some of the better seasons. So I'm just trying to stay here and be the best version for my team.
So what does that routine look like outside of the ballpark?
For me, it's just making sure, and it's tough with travel and things going on, but making sure that I'm eating good. I'm obviously working out. Anything I can do to move my body around. I think it's just anything that you would think of to take care of yourself off the field. The simple things I think that people overlook. If you want to have a really good season, it has everything to do with creating the person. We're all good. We're all good. There's everybody here that can play. Everybody can play. Everybody has talent. The guys that get sped up are the ones that don't believe in themselves. I'm going to believe in myself every day because I take care of myself. And I take pride in creating the player and the person. So if you do that, that's where a lot of that comes. It's a lot of the routine with that. So.
And I guess it's got to get pretty competitive on a team like the Y'alls. You're in the Frontier League, but it's also a taste of players can get cut at any point. They can get traded. You've had a lot of roster turnover. You're one of the guys who has been around since last season.
For sure.
What have you noticed in that realm to keep you in the team?
I think what's kept me around is evolving. I think I've always been a person that wants to learn, and not just learn, but I want to grow and I want to get better. It's uncomfortable to do that. A lot of people, I think, are not willing to be uncomfortable and they want to stay in their own ways. And what's funny is I've been there before, and it's also what kind of probably got me, I don't want to say released, but out the door a little bit. So I think once I was able to jump into a role in myself where I was like, okay, well, we need to constantly evolve, and not in a way where it's like we have to change, but we need to evolve. And it's not just me that's doing that. When I'm around other players that are really good and also doing the same thing, like we have a lineup that just bops, we have pitchers that are doing what they're doing, it's going to make me better. So I think it's all to do with environment, and I think keeping what Chad wants here, right? That same kind of positive energy and that same sort of growth. I mean, it comes from that. It's a bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything factors in a little bit, but I think that's another thing that just kept me around. And I mean, I'll be the guy that continues to stay around and grow because that's how I operate.
That's how you operate. And it's important to get out of your comfort zone, but
Sure.
if anyone was in a comfortable spot, it's you. You're from half an hour east of here in New Richmond.
For sure.
What's it like playing that close to home?
I mean, it's amazing. I definitely feel, what's the word? What's the word I want to go with here? I feel grateful. I feel blessed for sure. Spoiled, that's the word I want to use. I feel a little spoiled because it's definitely a lot easier to play when you have your family here all the time, mom's here all the time, grandma's here. It brings a calmness to you that I certainly wasn't going to get anywhere else when you're out on affiliate or whatever, where you're traveling around in Mexico or whatever it is, right? Like, it doesn't matter where you play. Although you need to be able to be good at doing that when you're away. I mean, it makes it 10,000 times easier when you're here, and then you have family and friends. I mean, I feel really grateful. I think when you're grateful too, as a person and as a player, I think it's only good juju. I think only good things can come your way. And I mean, comfortable or not, I'm comfortable because of family and friends and my habits.
Well, we're grateful to have you with the Y'alls.
Yeah.
Flow Talk Episode 1, Jesse Cook with Zade Richardson. And you mentioned your mom. She might be the biggest Florence Y'alls fan I've ever seen. She's at the ballpark more than you are.
More than I am. I'll tell you what, right now, she's like a businesswoman herself. So she's a real estate agent. She works for Howard Hanna. I mean, she has different offices, multiple offices all over the greater Cincinnati that she runs, and she's doing herself. And I mean, she's a hustler, so I learned it from her. But she's also coming here and she supports. I mean, she's I've learned everything I possibly know from her. So I'm grateful to have her, and Yeah, she's a baller. I'm not surprised.
And how did that family aspect play into it when you were in the Cardinals and Braves organizations?
Same way, same way. I mean, obviously the only difference is like I'm closer. I'm 30 minutes here compared to being 3 hours, 4 hours away, right? But even when she showed up, it was the same way. It's been like that since, I mean, even when I was in high school and in college, right? Whoever I'm with, it's more or less like how can we push this brand? Because I'm a part of it. So we're big believers in you're a brand. Who you are is you're a brand. So I think that's why I'm also good at being me. And when you're good at being yourself, you'll perform. That's why TJ's good at being him, because he's good at being him. He's getting the results he's getting because he's good at being him. So I think when you get to this level, it's mainly how good can you be at being you. And I think also what Chad is trying to produce here is be yourself. How many times has he said that? You have to be yourself, and it's a journey. Some people don't know who they are yet, but that's where you go. You got to come to a place like this to find out who you are. And you're gonna have different personalities, and it is what it is. But that's how you're gonna find that. So it's all revolving door.
And let's talk about TJ Reeves. You guys have shared tons of accolades.
Yeah.
He's the team leader in home runs with 14.
Yeah.
You're the only player in the Frontier League to win Player of the Week twice during the season.
Sure.
TJ got to the All-Star game. You guys are pretty close. You sit together on bus rides. What do you talk about?
Oh man, we're so cool thing. TJ and I have been really good friends since high school. I played with him in the Midland Redskins, which is a top 5 team in the nation high school wise. Like we're playing some of the best teams in the nation. I mean, I think majority of the kids on that team were draft guys, and if they weren't draft guys, they were going to go play SEC, ACC. So early on, we kind of knew each other at 17, 18 years old. We played on a travel ball team. It's actually funny because we both were tied for, I think, 10 homers and led that team in homers during that season too. So we've always kind of been a big power bat. It's been fun this year because I think, from 18 to 23, 24, you probably learn a bunch of different things, right, that have kind of made you successful throughout that span of career where we weren't with each other. So we're constantly evolving together. We're the same kind of hitters, but different, right? I know that's kind of like ironic or like, not the same, but we have similarities and we have differences, but we produce a lot of the same results. So we're constantly evolving, talking about hitting and what we do best at the plate and what we're feeling. And it's just, if you can bounce stuff off of another really, 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 really talented player that's producing results like that, I mean, it's a game of just now you're just making each other better, and I'm grateful for that. That's what I love the most.
What do you think is the most important part in that improvement process, how you make each other better?
I think the best way to look at it is not as like a personal, it's got to be good intentions. You have to come into it with good intentions, and I mean, he's successfully hitting them. He's hitting 14 or 15 homers right now. I have like 6, but his average is a little above 300. Mine's at like 3, whatever. Like we're kind of like, it's a really good balance of like helping each other out, get what we kind of want, right? So I think it's got to come out at genuine. I think you can't look at it in a way where you're insecure, and we're very secure with ourselves. I'm telling you right now, a lot of this stuff has to do with the person more than it has to do with what do I do up at the plate? Am I swinging at that? Blah, blah, blah. No, it has more to do with the person. So if I'm secure as a person, I'm receptive to whatever he's saying. He's receptive to what I'm saying. And then that leads to, okay, we both just got better. So that's why you're seeing it. It's going to happen more and more as the season goes. You're going to see guys like us continue to take off, and we're going to go through different things that are going to be tough, but we're mentally tough human beings that have gone through a lot of different, we played a lot of baseball. We're going to continue to keep playing baseball as long as we want to, because we're going to grow, because that's how we think. So I'm more blessed to have a guy like him, and I think it just comes from, we're just secure with ourselves.
And some of that baseball for you took you into the Cardinals organization, where you got to learn from Yadier Molina.
Yep.
What did he teach you about mental toughness and just about the game in general?
I think he taught me more by watching him than he did even with him speaking. And when he spoke, I mean, you still listen. Like, it was something that you're obviously going to listen to. But I think more people need to watch how people move and how they actually, I don't want to say necessarily how they walk for sure, but it's like how they move, how their energy is. It goes more to do with that. We learn as human beings with our eyes more than we do with our ears. And I think, and at least that's what's really gotten me as far as I have, and it's going to, again, continue to get me to, have more opportunities, is because when I learn with my eyes. And just by watching how Yadi worked every single day, I mean, how could you not? How he carried himself, how he threw everything about him. I mean, I would have, like, for instance, Brent Suter with the, Brent Suter, he's with the Reds right now. He played with multiple, different other teams. We work out in the off season together, and That's another thing too. I grew up with him. Even when I was in high school, he was in minor league at the time, and he would say every time that we played the Cardinals, it felt like I was playing the Cardinals and Yachty. And that's something big, like when you feel like you're playing a team, but you're playing also Yachty, that just lets you know how much in control of everything that he was. And it had everything to do with how he moved, how he walked, how he talked, how he carried himself. Obviously, the playing is one thing. You're going to play well, though, but it has everything to do with those tangibles. Those tangibles really bring out that extra bit of success that it's the intangibles, bro, the stuff that people don't see. So the more you play and the longer you play, you start seeing the little things a little bit more. So he taught me that. Being around that, he taught me that.
What are your intangibles?
My intangibles, I mean, I think I know that I can hit, I know that I can catch and throw, I know that I can do all those things. Honestly, I care more about controlling my emotions. Like, that's one thing I think people really miss out on. They don't know how to control their emotions, and it's the ending of their career. The more that I've learned, I think, especially in this team, because we have multiple personalities, right? It's good. It can be really good, and sometimes it can be, I don't want to say really bad, but it can get you. It can bite you in the butt, right? One thing I've really learned is the more that I control my emotions, the consistent I stay. The more consistent I stay. There's going to be days I come out here, I'm not going to get the big driving hits. There's going to be days where I come out here and you're going to see it. But if you look back at a lot of the stat lines, the big time hits that we did need them, I got them. And it's because I really take pride in, not necessarily because I was the best player. I took more pride that I was able to hold my emotions and keep my emotions in check, even on the days where I struck out 3 or 4 times. So it has more to do with that. My intangibles is I know how to control my emotions, which by and large is going to dictate my career and my future.
And you guys are 6.5 out of the last playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
You just said it. You're trying to control your future as a player,
Mm-hmm.
trying to control the Y'all's future as a team.
Yep.
How do you bridge that gap with a third of the season to go?
Perfect. I think the best way to do it is you line up the guys that are doing what they need to be doing, and especially to the younger guys, because the younger guys are just as powerful as the older guys. They have the talent, they have everything going on, they have the personality. But I think showing them a way on how things are supposed to be, and it's how you move, how you walk around, how you carry yourself, that energy is going to pour off in everybody else. And I think if everybody can learn to take care of themselves first, it'll take care of the team and by and large. And also knowing who you are as a player. Again, I know Chad talks about it all the time, but what is your role? Who are you? Again, how many times does this go back to who you are as a person? Every single time it does. So who are you as a person? What is your role? Know who you are, and as soon as you know who you are and your role, it's going to help the team. If I don't do my job out there, and whether the result is hitting 330 or I'm hitting homers, whatever it is, if I don't do my job and take care of myself, how can I help the team? I think everybody gets, and that's where college, right? When you look at college is very it's team, 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 anything you can. And they'll win, but you're winning out of fear. Kids are playing fearful. I remember I was only in JUCO for a year. I played college for a year, but it was the same way. When I was in high school, I played scared. I've not played scared, and I can't tell you how long. And I'm having more success than I ever have in my life, and it's only going to get better from here. But it's also not just helping me, it's helping other people. It's helping the team, and I'm also showing and I think teaching a lot of other younger guys on, this is how you move, which is making them better, and they might be better than me in certain areas, right? And that's cool. I want to see that. I want to see other guys find themselves, and that's all it is. It's a game of finding who you are. I don't want to say finding who you are, or really maybe just creating who you are. Not even finding. I think it's more about creating. So it comes down to that.
And is that something you think you can teach to the guys fresh out of college, like Stephen Rustich in left field, Dalton Davis, who just joined the roster?
I think they're already I think they're already doing it. And and it's not something you have to say. It's something that they're already becoming their own characters. I think we were joking around the other day, but Steven or Rusty, he's got the crop top. I don't know if you heard about that, but he got a turtleneck. He wanted to wear the turtleneck. He's got his own feel, and then he crop topped it. So it was something goofy and really funny, but it's man, that's him. I want to see that. That's Rusty. You saw the picture of me the other day where I had my shirt off downstairs I don't care. It's one of the things where I don't care, but that's me. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. I don't that's who I am. That's why it's authentic. And you can feel when things are authentic. So it comes down to that. I mean, they pay attention. You learn. We're at the age now where you learn by who you're watching, not what they say, because it's actions, not words.
Well, you mentioned
actions speak. Yeah, actions speak louder than words. So if you see somebody doing it and they're putting up the results and they're putting up the energy and it makes sense and it's authentic, of course you're going to follow suit. That's how I learned. I still learn that way. If I see a guy that I respect and he's doing that, I'm man, maybe I could take something from that. Maybe he's helping me open up a little bit more myself. So I mean, it's all internal, bro.
I mean, it's a learning process at every level.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that photo, second time you won Frontier League Player of the Week,
Yeah.
and you take the photo shirtless. I don't think I've seen Chad Rhodes happier
So
at
happy.
anything in his
So
life.
happy. Dude, that's the cool part too is like, and I'll make it a quick, brief story, but before I came here last year, when I showed up, because actually I showed up for spring training, but I wasn't here for spring training. I was kind of getting myself ready to go to Quebec before I went up there. I met Chad. I mean, I could tell he was a fan for sure. And then when I got over here after I got traded, he was like, what did he say? He was like, oh yeah, when you get on the field, the earrings and the jewelry stay on. And I'm like, I love this guy. So it was just more to do with like, hey, like this guy builds the personality. I think what you saw there, he was just more proud of like what he's created. And not saying that he created me, I created me, but he's a big part in bringing me in and creating what he wants. So I think, yeah, I mean, you could see it on his face. I loved it too. It was awesome. It just was too perfect. It was fun. I don't know. It was too fun. And it was natural. It was organic. Like I didn't care. It was what it is. But you know what I'm saying? But
I think that's a good way to end our first episode of
for
Flow
sure,
Talk.
For sure.
But Zade Richardson wears his chains, wears his earrings, and wears a lot of personality
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess. Let's
Jesse.
go, Jess.
Yeah, I'm Jesse Cook. That's Flow Talk.
Let's go.